Hey everyone, Fantasy Super Rugby 2026 Round 1 is almost upon us. The team lineups are now out for every single match. In this video, I will be sharing with you my team which I have selected. I'll also be going over any other picks that I think are pretty viable for Round 1. On top of that though, I will be going through the full list of players in every position and just commenting on players that have captured my attention for some reason or another that you might want to be keeping an eye on in the rounds going forward. Because it's round 1, we have so little information at the moment. Just getting a bit of information out there to sort of help everyone out could be useful, I think. Before we get into that though, let's have a look at the fixtures for round 1. And first up on Friday night, we have Highlanders versus Crusaders, undercover in Dunedin. Classic Southern Derby. I'm feeling pretty good about the Crusaders here. They have put out a very strong squad. They got Cody Taylor on the bench. They got Will Jordan on the bench. They're resting guys, but they haven't left them out of the lineup completely. Highlanders, on the other hand, not the strongest squad. Probably not stronger than they were last year. Got a bit of a cloud hanging over them because, you know, Jamie Joseph could be going to the All Blacks. We don't know what's happening there. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty comfortable about picking Crusaders for this matchup. I think the Crusaders will have the wood on the Highlanders and could be scoring some decent points, especially early in the season when, you know, teams don't have their shit together. Defenses are not quite as sharp and more points tend to be on offer. After this though, we have Waratahs versus the Reds in Sydney. Quite an interesting game here. Both squads have had quite a few changes in the off season. I'm really not sure what's going to happen, but conditions in Sydney do look pretty decent at the moment. It looks like it will be dry, and yeah, this is going to be a fun game to watch. I'm not really sure which way it's going to go. I mean, the Reds should have the edge on them, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Points could definitely be scored in this game, so would still feel comfortable picking players from these teams. Then we have on Saturday afternoon the Endura versus Moana Pacifica. This is in Lautoka, I believe. There is a bit of rain around Fiji at the moment, but I believe it's supposed to clear up by Saturday. Check the forecast though if you're getting players in this game, because yeah, if it's going to be wet, not going to be the best game to pick players on. There's not going to be as much scoring, going to be more knock-ons, could be a slower game. But otherwise, if conditions are good, I really like this game. I think it could be very high scoring. We know the Enduro are strong at home. We know they love to throw the ball around as well. And Moana Pacifica, I mean, their squad's kind of weakened compared to last year. Obviously, they don't have Artie Severe anymore. He's taking a sabbatical up north. Also lost Taumoe Falau. The Enduro have lost guys too. They lost to kind of very, I believe Caleb Muntz has gone as well. But yeah, we've kind of got two weaker teams going at it. Both like to sort of throw it around a bit. So yeah, I think this could be a high scoring, fun game if conditions are good. And yeah, I feel pretty good about picking up players from both of these teams, but especially in the Enduro for this round. Then Saturday night, Blues versus the Chiefs at Eden Park. I think it's going to be wet that morning, but it's supposed to clear in the afternoon, so should be good conditions. But I really don't like this matchup. I don't think I will be picking players from these teams in round 1, just because we know the Blues under Vern Cotter, they like to play that grinding, forwards based around the corner type of game plan, and that's not conducive to sort of open running game, lots of try scoring, lots of fantasy points. And with the Chiefs, I mean, the way they've played against the Blues the last couple of years, they kind of take them head on. They try and beat them at their own game, and hasn't really worked that well for them. That's not the optimal way to play against the Blues, and we kind of saw that in last year's semi-final where the Chiefs lost at home to the Blues. So maybe they've learned their lesson, the Chiefs. Maybe they will try and run the Blues around a bit more, which will open the game up a bit. But just based on recent history, yeah, I really don't like this game for being a high try scoring game. And I mean, look, Blues don't have Bowden, Chiefs, they don't have DMAC either. So yeah, I'm just gonna steer clear of players from this game for the most part because there will be better options available. And then finally we have Western Force versus the Brumbies in Perth. Conditions are always fantastic in Perth this time of year. They've always got that fast, dry track. So could be some good running rugby here. Could be some tries scored. Brumbies, I mean, usually they have the wood over the Force, but I believe the Force did beat them in one of the early rounds last year in a high-scoring close game as well. And I can't remember if that was in Perth. It might have even been in Canberra, to be honest. So Brumbies sort of did pick their form up as they got later into the season, but yeah, you just can't make any predictions in round one, right? Like, yeah, anything could happen in this game, but I definitely feel good about picking backs in this game when you get those fast, dry conditions. So yeah, pretty much feeling good about picking players from any team except for Blues and the Chiefs for this week. Now, moving on to the actual players. You can see I have picked in my outside backs Lagana Masi, Severis's captain, and Corey Toole. Lagana Masi, like I said, I really like that Drua Pacifica matchup in Fiji. I think Lagana Masi, he's easily the best outside back for the Drua. He can do some freakish things as an individual. We saw that last year. And yeah, at the start of the year when everyone's a bit sloppy, like this is the sort of time a guy like him can shine. So feeling pretty good about this pickup. With Severis, like I said, I do like the Crusaders' chances against the Highlanders, and just Severis in particular, I think he's just one of the best fantasy rugby players ever because he's got that perfect fantasy style. He plays super greedy. He's always chasing after the ball. He's coming in after his wing. Like he's chasing kicks like a dog after a ball. Like he's just so greedy and so involved. And that's exactly what you want from a player in fantasy. Get their hands on the ball, get some points, get tries. And he's proven how good he was last year. And I know he's going away, I think, after this season. I'm not sure where he's going to, so maybe his heart won't be in it as much. But I mean, I just can't imagine that from Severis. Like the guy is always going to give it 100% on the field. He's always going to be going after it. So yeah, feeling pretty good about this pickup. And conditions are definitely going to be good under the cover as well. Then with Corey Toole, similar sort of logic. Again, like playing in Perth, you get that dry track consistently. It's always so fast, and I mean that's Corey Toole's middle name. Like the guy is extremely fast. I do like the Brumbies' chances against the Force. They should go well. And I mean, if it's like that game they had last year as well, where I think the Force barely beat them, I mean that was a high-scoring game too. So yeah, feels like a pretty good time to pick up Corey Toole. Both him and Severis are pretty respectively at 8.9 and 9.3 respectively. But look, outside backs, that's where you get your points in fantasy Super Rugby. So yeah, it doesn't, you got to spend a bit of cash. This year with variable player pricing, I mean, if these players flop at all, they will be losing money. But at most you lose 0.5 million. So it's not the end of the world if you do have one bad game. But there are other options as well. I mean, don't really recommend going for the ultra cheap guys. You're just going to be giving up so many points. But there are guys that are sort of in the middle, that sort of 5.5 to sort of 7 mil zone, who could do potentially very well and save you a bit of money and possibly even make you some with their value going up. I was looking at Tavita Offer. I mean, this guy's pretty good, and Pacifica versus Endura is one matchup where he could actually get a bit of play. He's only 5.7 million, so he's sort of the cheapest guy that I would consider going for. Same with Manasa Mataele as well, only 6.3 million, playing on the wing for the Endura at home in Lautoka against soft opposition, Moana Pacifica. I've always been a fan of this guy, but I know he's getting pretty old now, so not sure what his form is going to be like, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up doing well. Your other options are the really expensive guys. I mean, Tangatau, Ratumai Tavuki Neatkins, Jonah Ruknareki. The Highlanders back three is honestly probably my favorite back three in the entire competition. All of these guys are excellent and possibly even a little bit underrated, even though they do get talked about quite a lot and have high prices here. But yeah, I wouldn't be going for any of them this week just because I think that potentially the Highlanders could end up struggling against the Crusaders. This doesn't mean that these guys will do terribly, but they probably don't have a really high ceiling for this game either. Jorgensen and Harry Potter, who's now at the Waratahs as well. I mean, both of these guys are great. 8.6 million, still kind of expensive, but for an outside back, I mean, not too much. Wouldn't complain about going for either of these guys, to be honest. If you're picking out of the two of them, I would go for Jorgensen. I think he is just a bit more freakish athletically than Harry Potter, who did have an excellent year last year. Jonah Lowe, he's actually playing in the midfield for the Highlanders, so he would just be a really terrible pick to make here and use up one of your outside back slots. Kyron Tamai Falau, obviously moving from Pacifica to the Chiefs. Like I said earlier during the fixtures, I don't like this Blues Chiefs games for being like a big open scoring type game, right? Like I like Tamai Falau. I'd seriously consider him in other matchups, but yeah, just for this week, I do not like him. Andy Muirhead, I think, is a very strong option at only 7.5 million. Like I said about Corey Toole, I do like the Brumbies' chances against the Force. Muirhead's actually playing at fullback this game. He usually plays at right wing, but being at fullback, there's no Tom Wright this week. Being at fullback might actually help Muirhead get involved a bit more, so he could be a little bit undervalued here at 7.5 million. And if you did want a piece of the Brumbies without breaking the bank, would not scoff at going for Muirhead. Willie Havili, again, I like that Endura versus Pacifica matchup. 4 points, might not be a bad pick. Last year, Havili was quite strong, but a lot of that came down to him getting the kicking duty, like doing conversions, doing penalties, and getting points from that. He's probably not going to be doing that this game because Pellegrini is starting at 10 for the Pacifica. He is an excellent goal kicker. And then, yeah, suddenly we get a big drop off here. We get down to Matt Greeley, 6.6 million. I sort of don't really like the guys starting around this point. Already talked about Mataele. Lockie Anderson, apparently he's moved to the Reds now. I believe he was at the Waratahs, correct me if I'm wrong. That's interesting. Nana Satura I do like, but again, not liking Chiefs players this week. Shea Fihaki, he's probably pretty undervalued at 5.8 million for a Crusaders fullback, right? Like a Crusaders fullback is always going to go well. I don't like him for this week though, just because Will Jordan is on the bench and Fihaki, he probably is the one who is going to get substituted. And then already talked about Tavita Offa. I do like Tavita Offa. I don't think he's a bad pick. He's probably the best ultra budget pick at 5.7 million. But yeah, I probably wouldn't really consider going for guys below this point, even though these aren't bad players. I mean, I like Zan Sullivan a lot, but you know, playing for the Blues as a back, like it's just not the place to be if you're a back, right? You're not getting a lot of ball. Liam's Coombs Fadling, I mean, 4.5 million, that's pretty cheap for a starting winger. But again, don't like that Chiefs versus Blues matchup. And this Jay Hendren guy I've never actually heard of, so kind of keen to see how he goes. Now moving on to the midfield, I have gone with Leicester Fainga'anuku and Joseph Suali'i. Leicester Fainga'anuku, I think he's exactly the type of player who's perfect for fantasy, just a big strong ball runner, can bust tackles, make line breaks, make offloads, score tries, very physical player, gets turnovers as well. I think he's going to be huge in this year's fantasy Super Rugby, and having a player like that in a midfield slot as well, where there isn't always a lot of options. I feel like this guy's going to be one of the most popular players in the whole league. And this week he's actually playing on the wing as well. He's not playing in the midfield, he's playing on the wing. So it's always nice to pick up a winger in the midfield fantasy slots as well. They just have so much more potential playing in that position. So Leicester Fainga'anuku, a very strong pick this week. I'd almost call it a no-brainer, but there is a bit more competition in this midfield. Obviously, we've got Joseph Suali'i as well. We all know what he is capable of. He was extremely good last year on the field as well as in fantasy Super Rugby. And yeah, you just need to get the ball in his hands and things are going to happen. I feel a lot better about this pick if he was playing at fullback like he did a lot last year. In this game, I think he's at outside center, so not quite a good proposition as he has been in other games, but I mean, we all know what the guy can do, right? You just get the guy the ball, he can make things happen. So still a very strong pick. Other strong picks in the midfield are, of course, Timothy Tavanawai, who is now finally being put into the midfield slots in fantasy. Last year, he was listed as an outside back. He pretty much got 40 points every single game, which was pretty damn good for a midfielder, but not so good for an outside back. So he really did not get picked as much as he deserved to be just because of that. But this year he's been fixed up, and yeah, that's why he's got such a high value on him, 8.4 million. He will be worth it a lot of the time, but I'm just not picking him this week because yeah, I just don't like the Highlanders against the Crusaders. I don't think he will go badly, but you know, he's probably not going to do as well as he normally does, which means his value could drop a bit after this game if the Highlanders do have a hard time against the Crusaders. There is actually a fourth option in the midfield as well that I do really like. Nanilau Mapi, he is playing at 12 for Moana Pacifica up against the Androa. I like the matchup and I like the style of player for fantasy rugby. That same as Leicester kind of, right? Just that sort of hard running midfielder who can get those tackle busts and offloads and score tries. I'll be honest, I haven't seen him play since he left New Zealand shores and went up north, so I've got no idea what form he is in now. But yeah, if he still plays the same way as he used to, I think yeah, he could be a good option. He's only 6.5 million, and especially in this round up against sort of softer opposition in the Fijian and Drua, yeah, I think this round is definitely a viable time to pick him up. And at 6.5 million, he could save you a bit of cash as well as earn you a bit as well if he does well in this game. So definitely a serious one to consider. Our other options here, Josh Fluke, obviously pretty solid. David Havili, pretty solid as well. Not much to remark about them. They're probably worth what their listed prices are. AJ Lamb, only 6.5 million. Used to be an outside back. Vern Cotter sort of moved him into 12, where he actually looked really, really strong. Just a very powerful ball runner. He's actually been moved to outside center because Peter Aki has come back from overseas and joined the Blues and will be taking up that 12 position. So I feel like this probably worsens Lamb's Final Fantasy scoring prospects just because, yeah, being in those wider channels kind of hurts you at the Blues, right? Like the ball often doesn't really get past 12 that much. But Tapia and Rona, not very expensive, pretty solid players. Rona gets put out on the wing sometimes, which can be a good time to pick him up. But yeah, both these guys in the midfield for this game against the Blues, and yeah, I just don't like that Blues Chiefs game. I think it's going to be tough for the midfields. And yeah, Joey Walton, not someone I'm excited about. Braden Ennor, I think, is actually quite cheap here at 5.1 million. I think he is a pretty good value pickup. He probably will get a lot more time at 13 as well now that Levi Almore has left the Crusaders, as long as he stays injury free. So he is one to keep an eye on for me. George Bridge, interestingly, playing for the Force now. Doesn't really excite me that much, but I still want to see him play, but doesn't excite me as a fantasy option. Kind of same story with Peter Aki as well. I'm always interested to see what these players look like who have been overseas for a long time and come home, especially in positions like the midfield. So yeah, got my eye on him. Hamish Stewart, he's partnering George Bridge again. Force midfield, really not an exciting thing for me. Bailey Kunzel though, Bailey Kunzel, he is actually starting on the wing, I believe the left wing for the Force against the Brumbies. So he's a serious value option to consider. Only 4.5 million for a winger in the midfield slot. If you're looking for a value prospect to either save you money or make you some money, this is definitely one I would seriously consider going for. We also have Hunter Paisami down here as well. Only 4.3 million for a player that's otherwise quite a hard ball runner. Does tend to get himself in trouble with high tackles and cards though. And one last interesting player as well is Vakatawa. He's in here as having a value of 0, so he's a free player, which I presume if he plays more than 10 minutes and scores any sort of points at all, then his value is probably gonna go up, right? The most a player's value can increase in 1 week is 0.5 million, so nothing really to get excited about here, but just an interesting thing to note, a starting player that has a value of 0, so you're really strapped for cash. This is a this is a guy you could pick up, and it would save you a lot of money and probably gain you that 0.5 mil. Maybe it does depend on the exact formula that they're using. And actually, one last interesting player to note as well, David Palu. Again, another midfielder for the Force that is actually playing on the wing. I believe Palu is playing on the right wing. I don't know anything about this player. I've never seen him play before, but yeah, these sort of midfielders that play in the outside backs, they can go quite well, but yeah, just because it's the Force and they're up against the Brumbies, I'm sort of not too excited about these ones, but it's good to be aware of them. Now moving on to the 10. I have gone with Revez Reihana. He is the most expensive starting option at 8.3 million. I do think he's worth it. Like I said, like the Crusaders against the Highlanders, it's going to be in dry conditions. He looked really good when he took over the 10 slot for the Crusaders last year. And nothing else here is really exciting to me. We get a big drop off for the next slot, 6.1 million for Ben Donaldson. Ben Donaldson is a super solid player. Wouldn't feel bad having him. Stephen Perifetta though, he probably would be my next favorite option after Reihana. Only 5 million. We know what Perifetta can do with the ball in hand. His kicking game can be a bit wayward, which is a problem for the Blues, but not necessarily a problem in fantasy. But yeah, he's just a player. He hasn't had a lot of game time. He's had a lot of injuries, stuck behind Bowden Barrett. Yeah, just a bit of an unpredictable pick, really. Like, we just don't know how this one's going to play out. So we'll be interested to see what happens. And yeah, tough matchup against the Chiefs first up as well. Pellegrini, this is an option that I do like. Only 4.6 million, but he's a great player. He is very good off the tee. He'll nail his conversions and his penalties. And yeah, he's just an exciting player. And look, it's Pacifica against Drua, like a potentially high scoring matchup. Definitely a more consistent prospect than Perifeta is. So yeah, definitely, if you're not going for Reihana, definitely wouldn't turn my nose up at Pellegrini. After this point though, it gets a bit dodgy. Josh Jacobs, he is getting the start for the Chiefs, but again, just tough match against the Blues. Don't really like the pick. Moving on to nines, I've gone for Noah Hotham, but yeah, none of these options are really exciting at all. Last year, Cam Roigard, he was the best 9 in fantasy by miles, and I mean, he was the best 9 in the comp by miles as well. Wasn't even close. So yeah, Canes have a bye in round 1, so we kind of just have to make do with the dregs. And yeah, it's all kind of much of a muchness for me. In general, in fantasy, I think the best type of halfback is the running halfback that likes to snipe around the ruck and sort of create those line breaks, or otherwise has a nose for the try line. I think Hotham is in that mold sometimes. He does like to snipe. He doesn't do it every game, but when he does, I mean, he does it a lot. So that's kind of why I've gone with Hotham. Fakatava, in general, he's a style of player I think would be good because, yeah, he's kind of a creative player, likes to do those cheeky behind the back passes and has a snipe sometime. But yeah, tough match with the Crusaders first up, and kind of just tough in general being at the Islanders. With the rest of these options, I mean, look, Xavier Rowe, I think Cortez Ratima's on the bench, so Rowe's probably going to get subbed pretty early. Same with Lele Wasa, because Lamani is on the bench. Nathan Hasty's at the force now. Really just want to go with a guy who's going to get decent game time. This is also a slot where you can kind of save some money as well. Like, I wouldn't be afraid to go for guys like Lonergan or Gordon. They'll stay on the park for most of the game. They cost you basically nothing, and yeah, you can spend that money elsewhere in another slot. Now onto the loose forwards, where we always have a lot going on. I've gone for Charlie Cale, Thanakavata, and Miracle Failangi. Feeling really good about Charlie Cale, especially. I've always been a big fan of this guy, especially in fantasy, because he's so strong with the ball in hand. He can really create things. He can run. He was looking really good last year until he just got laid up with a really long-term injury, which was just a massive shame. My other picks, Thanakai Vata, Miracle Failangi. Like I said, I just like that Drua versus Pacifica matchup in Fiji. Both of these players were pretty solid last year. Failangi in particular was quite good. But yeah, other options, I mean, you've always got so many options in the back row. Carl Tuzano, he's the number one, 9.8 million. He was a lock last year. I haven't gone with him this round. Well, one, because he's obviously so expensive, but two, I think you can actually skip him this round just because a major source of Tizano's points is that he sits in at the back of the maul when he scores those maul tries that would otherwise go to the hooker. But they're coming up against the Brumbies, who historically are a team with a very strong maul and maul defense. For the first half of last year, I mean, you could probably go back even a couple of years. The Brumbies maul hasn't been what it used to be, but yeah, I just feel like the force maul probably isn't really going to be a massive source of success against the Brumbies in round 1. I might be wrong. I might regret this call. So yeah, you guys can make your own call on this one, but that's the logic I am going with. If he was cheaper, I would go with him for sure, but I would swap either Thanakaivata or Failangi. But But yeah, I mean, that extra couple million, it does actually make a bit of a difference. Other than that, though, we got options like Hoskins to Tutu. Hoskins, on paper, he's the sort of player who should be a fantasy beast. I think back in that year when the Blues won the competition, he probably would have been fantasy MVP if fantasy existed for that year, because he kind of does it all, right? Like, he carries hard, he can do offloads, he can score tries. Like, yeah, the guy's just a beast. But last year, he kind of struggled for the first half of the season in fantasy. Later half of the season, he did actually become quite solid, though. But yeah, this week, just not feeling it against the Chiefs, and there's still a few question marks hanging over his head, because I know he is moving, I think, to Newcastle after the Super Rugby season, and hard to tell if his heart is still going to be in it. Yeah, so he's kind of one that I'm just going to wait and see for the moment. Fraser McWright, he was super solid, probably a fair price for him. Same story with Leo Willie. Leo Willie, he might be a little bit undervalued here. He's a super busy player, very handy player. I probably would have picked him, but you can only have 4 players from one team. I'm already maxed out on Crusaders, so yeah, definitely a pretty viable option to go for here in this game and just in any fixture in general. After that, Tupo Taialoa for Pacifica. I believe this guy had, I think he was number 1 for carries last year in the whole comp. So yeah, good player, big unit, goes hard, and pretty good price at 6.7 million. Pretty fair price too, I think. I wouldn't be sad about having him in my team. Thanakai Vada, he's kind of a similar guy. He's just a big unit who likes to carry the ball. He can do offloads, he can score tries. So yeah, handy player, and he's only 5.6 million, which again I think is a pretty solid price for him. But yeah, like the Pacifica versus Enduro matchup, so that's why I've gone with him this week. Papali'i, I mean, Papali'i is solid, but he doesn't have a high ceiling on him, right? Like, the guy's a tackle machine. He doesn't miss tackles, gets the odd turnover, gets the odd try, super solid. Only 5.3 million, which is probably a fair price, but yeah, he's just not very exciting. And yeah, if you want to save money, he's a guy you consider, but you've probably got better options. And speaking of better options for the price, I mean, Pete Samu, 5.0 million. I'll be honest, I haven't watched Pete Samu since he left Super Rugby. I think he was in the Brumbies last, and obviously Crusaders before that. And he always looked good when he was here. He looked good at the Crusaders. He looked good at the Brumbies, even though he was coming off the bench all the time. So not sure how he went up north, but I've always thought this guy's a really good player. And if he's anything like he was when he left our shores, he's worth more than 5 million. Playing for the Waratahs now. And look, I don't know what the Waratahs are going to be like this year. They haven't been strong for a long time now. But yeah, definitely a player I've got my eye on. Wouldn't feel bad about picking him up. He could be one of those sort of, you know, diamonds in the rough sort of value players. Beyond that, though, Callum Boshia, Rob Valentini is super cheap, only 4.9 million. But to be honest, he quite often did not score a lot of points in fantasy Super Rugby last year. If he consistently played like he did for the Wallabies against like the Lions, I mean, he would be amazing. But yeah, Super Rugby is kind of not playing at that intensity. So 4.9 million though, I mean, look, the guy, he can get over the try line in the tight games. So for that price, you know, if you really need to save money, wouldn't feel too bad about it. And going down below this point, no one's really exciting here. Ikawasi, he's a physical beast, but doesn't really get to shine at the Force. Didn't look amazing last year, but didn't get a lot of opportunities either. Might get more opportunities this year. Now moving on to the locks. If you watch my strategy video, I said props and locks, they're very low scoring position, and there's just not a lot to worry about when picking these guys. It's all sort of much of a muchness. These are good slots where you can just save some money by picking Chiefs guys. I've gone with Salakai Lotto and Jeremy Williams. Jeremy Williams was consistently very good for the Force last year in fantasy, so can't go wrong with him, but he is one of the more expensive locks. Same with all these other guys, Vai, Shalfoon, Canham, even Berry. Like, all of these guys were pretty solid and consistent, but yeah, they cost more than the other locks, so probably not really worth it, to be honest, because like I keep saying, the difference between the best prop and the worst prop, or the best lock and the worst lock, is usually going to be less than 10 points. So if you need more cash, it's quite often better just to pick up cheaper guys who are going to be starting. And look, I've got Salakai Lotto, only 2.9 mil. And look, the guy is an absolute unit. Like, he can bust tackles, he can get over the try line. That happens in a game, great, I'll take it. If it doesn't, not much has been missed out on. One interesting option of note here, Vothi is listed in the locks, but he is actually playing in the back rows. He is playing at 6, I believe, so he will get a bit more opportunity to range like a back rower. That could result in him getting more points. Wouldn't be a bad option to pick up, to be honest, but yeah, you can make the decision. Also, this player here, Mayana Vanua, never actually seen him play before, so kind of interested to see what he's like. Now moving on to the hookers, I've gone with Billy Pollard. Billy Pollard is not exciting, but he's super solid line out thrower. Brumbies have solid set piece, line out a maul, and yeah, he'll get maul tries. If the Brumbies are going to set any mauls, which they usually do, they get any maul tries, Billy Pollard's going to be the one to come up with it. So yeah, he's a super solid pick for me. And look, here's 7.3 million. He's the most expensive starting hooker we have this round, but yeah, it's always kind of worth it to get a hooker who might come away with some more tries, to be honest. So yeah, not afraid to spend the money here. Hooker is a super consistent position though, because so many of their points are just kind of passive from scrums and lineouts. So you can sort of pick cheaper options if you do want to save some money. No one else here really excites me though. In general, I'm a big fan of Taukiaho, but yeah, just as Blues versus cheap matchup, it's going to be a bit of a tussle. Don't know if that'll really help Taukiaho. Matty Fazler, I think, has always been good. Spent a lot of time injured last year, so Richie Asiata got all his game time, but no, I still think Fazler is pretty good. Bradley Slater has moved down to the Blues. I'm guessing he wants to get game time, get away from Taukiaho. He will get that at the Blues now that Riccitelli has left, and interestingly, he's starting over Kurt Eklund. I don't know if Kurt Eklund is injured or what. Eklund's not on the bench, so maybe he is injured. But yeah, interested to see how he goes against his old team in round 1. And no one else here is particularly exciting to me. George Bell is very cheap, which is something to keep an eye on if he keeps getting starts. But Cody Taylor is on the bench, so he's probably gonna be subbed kind of early. So yeah, not the best pick for me there. Now, last and probably least as well, we have the props. I've gone for Robertson and Dyer. No special decision making here. Sort of got Dyer just because he's kind of cheap. Went for Robertson because he was always pretty solid last year for whatever reason. But yeah, I don't have strong feelings about any of this here. It's all kind of much of a muchness for me, so you can pick up whatever makes you feel good, or otherwise just choose some cheap guys that are in a scrum that isn't going to be shoved backwards off the ball, And yeah, it's a good way to save some money as well. Like get Adam Ross or something. I mean, it's just not going to be a big deal. As for the captains this week, I've obviously gone with Sevu Reece, which I feel really good about it. I already talked about why I think Sevu Reece is just one of the great fantasy Super Rugby picks. If I wasn't going for Sevu Reece, if you don't have him though, probably next cab off the rank for me would be Leicester Fainga'anuku. Again, he's just got all the attributes of a great fantasy rugby player, and he's playing on the wing as well instead of starting at midfield. So yeah, that's a really compelling option as well. I mean, he's right up there with Sevu Reece. My third option probably would be Revez Reihana. The nice thing about Reihana, or just in general picking a 10, is that they usually never truly bomb out, just because they're always going to get a few points from the shots they get to take at goal, like penalties or conversions. So yeah, 10 is always a solid option to go with. They're usually not going to score as high as your outside backs, but they're also less likely to bomb as hard as well, which it can kind of suck when you captain one of your outside backs and the ball just doesn't come their way, and you know, they only get like 20 points or whatever. But if you're not feeling the Crusaders players this week, as far as your other options go, I mean, you know, you really do just want to look at your outside backs, and again, you just want to try and pick a player that's sort of gonna do well even on a bad day, right? You want to pick a player that's just not gonna totally bomb, right? Like Legonamasi, he could bomb, right? Like you never know with the Endroa. They like to throw the ball around. They could have a great game, they could have a terrible game. Corey Tall, he would be a more reliable pick, but even with the Brumbies, the back three do kind of tend to share the points around, so this week might not be Corey Tall's week. And yeah, there's just no guarantees. If you want to play it safe, go with whoever you got at 10, or even go with your hooker. If you got Pollard, they're probably going to get 40 points, maybe a bit more if they get a more try, which would be ideal. But yeah, just look at your outside backs and go with your gut. Anyway guys, that'll do it for me for round 1. I hope you found this video useful. Don't forget, in the description there is a link to join our league on the official fantasy competition. Please join up with that. Also subscribe to the channel as well if you want to get the weekly previews exactly like this for every single round through the season. Otherwise, I hope you have a good rest of the week. Enjoy the weekend's games, and I will catch you in the next one.